my gosh, you guys, I was not expecting all of this. Before we get into today's video, I do want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all had a wonderful week. I hope everybody is doing well and geared up for the weekend. Gonna do something fun, get outside, I hope. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about this bombshell paperwork that was released by the defense for Richard Allen. Now, if you guys are not all caught up, I am assuming that most of y'all are. If you're not, you are in for a big, big treat, okay? You've done hopped in and like, whoa. And if you are all caught up, then just roll with me here. This is pertaining to Richard Allen, who is linked to the Delphi situation. I do have another video on what happened in Delphi. And so if you guys want to go get all caught up there, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, go and watch that video first. But otherwise, I'm going to give you guys a refresher, and then we're going to get into all of this information because the defense for Richard Allen released like 136 pages. And in these documents, there are claims and stuff that I have never even heard of, never even seen before. And spoiler alert, his defense team, whoever they are, they're doing a really good job. Now, I don't know if what they're claiming in these paperwork is real or not, but I know one thing, it's got everybody talking, thinking, second guessing, and wondering, and that is all the defense has to do is create reasonable doubt. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, Factor. Are you too busy this fall to cook, but you still want to make sure that you are staying on top of your goals and eating well? Well, Factor has got your back. With Factor, you can skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality that you need. Factor's fresh and never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy, then get back to crushing your goals. And if you're looking for calorie-conscious options, but you still want to get good nutrition and eat delicious meals, well, Factor offers calorie-smart meals that has 550 calories or less. Or if you're looking for an extra boost and want to up your protein game, well, Factor offers Protein Plus meals that has 30 grams of protein or more per meal. I love having my Factor meals in my refrigerator and ready for me when I get hungry, because if I don't, I'm way more apt to maybe go through a drive-through or order food delivery. But thankfully, when I have my Factor meals, I can just pop it in the microwave. It takes me about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and I have a good, delicious, and nutritious lunch to keep me satisfied. If you want to try Factor, all you gotta do is go to factor75.com and use my code ChristinaRandall50, and you can save 50% off of your first box today. Yes, all you gotta do is go to factor.com or click the link down in the description box, use my code, and you can start saving today. Thanks again, Factor. So real quick, before we go into this alternate theory, let me give y'all a refresher on everything. Abigail Williams and Liberty German were two best friends who went for a hike or a walk on a day that school was out, which was on February 13th of 2017. Now, we remember that they went for the hike on this big, tall, beautiful bridge, and we know that around 2:05 p.m., the girls were on the bridge because they took a picture and then posted it to Snapchat, and the picture was one that Libby took of Abby walking on the bridge. Then at 2:13 p.m., Libby records the bridge guy walking on the bridge, and this is the guy where we have heard the recording all these years saying, "Down the hill."
Guys. Down the hill. Guys. Down the hill. Guys. Down the hill.
Now, less than an hour later at 3:11 p.m., Libby's dad calls her to say, hey, I'm almost there, coming to pick you guys up, because again, they went walking or they were going hiking on their day off of school, and he did not get an answer from Libby. At 3:14, he calls again, and he still does not get an answer from her. Not long after, Libby's dad shows up to where he was supposed to meet the girls. He searches for them. He cannot find them. He starts calling people. Nobody has heard from the girls. The police get involved. They have a search team. They search all night long. They cannot find the girls. The following day, on February 14th, as people were searching again, along with investigators, this is when they did find Abby and Libby, and they were both deceased. At 2 p.m. on February 14th of 2017, there was a press conference that was held. This is when they told the public that Abby and Libby were indeed found and that they suspected foul play. Now, from here, rumors went flying because very little information about how Abby and Libby were found was released. One, because we all believe because they were minors. And another reason is probably because of the investigation. And it seems like some of that is becoming more clear now that this paperwork has been released. The photo of the bridge guy was released. People were questioned. And then there was these two sketches that were also released that where people said that they saw somebody that looked like these two guys down by this area where Abby and Libby had disappeared and then were later found. It was clarified that these two sketches were different people. Two different people, not both the same person, one looking younger with facial hair, one looking older with, facial hair and a hat on. These were two different sketches, okay? So remember that as we get into this paperwork. Now, investigators were not able to find their suspect all of this time until October of 2022 when Richard Allen was arrested. Now, when Richard Allen was arrested, most people believed, okay, this is the guy. This is the guy. It makes sense. The bit of evidence that they had, he worked at the local CVS. I mean, things just kind of made sense, even though there was no real hardcore concrete connection, DNA connection. There was a bullet that they found near the girls, and everybody was just tying things together, myself included. But what really solidified it was that when Richard Allen got into the jail, he made 5 different confessions over the phone. He called his wife, yes, honey, I did it. I did this. He called his mom. And finally, his wife ended up hanging up on him after he confessed it multiple times on a phone call, which you would think, why didn't she hang up the first time unless she thought something else? We don't know. I want to hear those phone calls, but let's keep going here. So after he confessed for the 5th time, this is when he stopped making any phone calls. He began to deteriorate in the jail or / prison where he's being held, and he took on a totally different form. I mean, Richard Allen went in looking one way, and last time we've seen him, he looks like a totally different person. The defense came out and said, well, he's getting treated bad in jail. And most people was like, well, yeah, everybody gets treated bad in jail. Unfortunately, it's a thing that happens. They get in there, people start freaking out, and sometimes they are treated bad. I've seen it myself. They really are. But we were like, okay, well, he's having a hard time in there. But my interest really started getting piqued when last week it was released that Richard Allen's attorneys, his defense team, is requesting cameras be in the courtroom for the trial. When I saw that, I said, that's a bit different from the Bryan Kohberger situation. I don't even want to get into that right now because I've been very irritated, which is why I have not made a video, even though you guys have asked me to. I'm kind of waiting to see what Judge does. But nevertheless, the defense, Richard Allen's team is saying, we want cameras in the courtroom. So I was like, They also started asking for a Franks hearing, which from what they were saying is they believe that the search warrant that was done on Richard Allen's home was done illegally. And they believe that it's because the people that went to the judge and asked for a search warrant for Richard Allen's home, they either lied to the judge or they either left out really important information knowingly. Now, why is that important? That's really important because that's how they connected Richard Allen to the crime scene, was by his firearm to that bullet that was found by the girl's body. So that's how they connect him. So if they would have never done that search on his home, they could have never connected him to the crime scene. But that is not it, you guys. In this 136-page report, Richard Allen's defense is claiming that not only is law enforcement involved, correctional officers are involved in this, there's like a cover-up going on, but that this crime was committed not by Richard Allen, but by a pagan Norse religion. And the girls were sacrificed by an Odinism cult. Think the show Vikings. Have any of y'all ever watched Vikings? My husband did. I didn't. I kept falling asleep during it. It's too slow for me, but a lot of y'all probably watched it. Think the show The Vikings. Like they would do lots of human sacrifices, and people would volunteer themselves to be, whatever. So this document is claiming that that is what happened to Abby and Libby, and they're not just claiming it. In this document, we found out the positions that their bodies were found, a lot of details. We're not going to go over any of the gruesome details, but we are going to talk about positioning and the things that the defense is claiming. They also claim that a symbol related to this religion/cult was painted onto the tree by the girls in Libby's blood. Before I go any further in this, I want to bring up that a lot of people, I have seen this for years, have believed that more than one person was involved in taking the lives of Abby and Libby. To a lot of people, it did not make sense how one person could get two girls to walk as far as they did, for everything that happened to them and the way that they were found. It was so confusing. So when they linked that bullet to the firearm, that started making sense to some people. Okay, he had a weapon and he scared them and told them to go. But a lot of people still believed, wait a minute, this had to be more than one person. Well, allegedly, reports from the FBI found that the person or the people that took the lives of Abby and Libby were involved in these Northern beliefs. And it also said that there were subjects that were actually named during this investigation. And there was a 12-page report written up on these people, and it was completely ignored the whole entire time. So let's go over some of the crime scene stuff. When members of the search party found the girls in the late morning of February 14th, 2017, Abby and Libby had been missing for approximately 22 hours. The scene was ghoulish. Libby was found at the base of a tree with 4 branches of varying sizes intentionally placed in a very specific and arranged pattern on her body. Libby was positioned flat on her back with her arms stretched above her head, touching the base of the large tree. Libby's right hand was covered in red fluid, and Libby's left hand was also covered in the same red fluid. Red spots and red drippings were seen all over Libby's body from head to toe. Libby's right arm was placed along the side of her body, and one large tree branch had been placed on her left shoulder. This branch was so long that it extended above Libby's head several feet and below her legs for several feet as well. 2 smaller branches formed a V, where her legs joined her body, with both sides of the V extending upwards toward Libby's head, with one branch extending to the left of Libby's head and the other to the right of Libby's head. The last of the 4 branches extended across Libby's body on a line from her right shoulder to her left shoulder. This 4th tree branch also connected with the other tree branches, and it was placed under both branches that formed the V. Libby's injured neck was partially covered by this 4th branch. There appeared to be no red sprayed or dripped onto the leaves or the tree near Libby's head and her injured neck. It appeared likely that Libby had been killed at a nearby tree and then dragged to her final resting place, where she was positioned before having the tree limbs placed on her in a very specific pattern. In this document, it claims that Abby and Libby's bodies were treated completely different, okay? But as you can see, this does not sound like a situation where, 2 girls were killed in the heat of the moment and the person scurried out of there. Somebody took time. Now, remember how I said that this document said that law enforcement was involved as well? According to these documents, okay, And again, remember how I told y'all that Richard Allen said he was getting severely mistreated while he was locked up? And there was even other inmates coming forward too, saying that he was getting mistreated and all this stuff. Well, according to these documents, correctional officers at the prison that Richard has been being held at have had patches on them that say, "In Odin we trust." So could you imagine, let's just say this is true, okay? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Spoiler alert. I know I usually like to wait to the end. I don't know. This is a lot to take in. And what I can say, again, is I believe that the defense so far is doing really good adding reasonable doubt. And we're going to get into more of that here in a second. However, I have never, correctional officers, like a uniform, to be able to wear an Odin we trust, you know, like their Odin, which is their like pagan god, you know, that this is a religion of theirs. And for then this to be claimed to be a cover-up because it was a sacrifice by this Nordic religion, and then you've got this guy being mistreated while he's in jail, or claiming that he is, and the guards, the correctional officers, wearing patches claiming to be a part. I don't know, it's wild, y'all. Now in these documents, they name like 4 different suspects, and then other people, friends, different reports that were taken that we never heard about, and doesn't seem like they were followed up on and investigated in the ways that they should be. But one person in particular, and I'm going to say his name because I have actually seen videos where he's kind of like went back and forth with people online before, and he's gone back and forth in comment sections, so he must not care too much. And I'm going to show y'all some videos too, is a man named Brad Holder. Now, Brad Holder, and again, this is all alleged. These are all accusations. I don't know Brad. I don't know if this is true. I don't know any of this. This is a trial going on, and we're speaking on documents and things that I found online myself. Brad Holder is allegedly the father of a young man who was dating Abby, okay? Now, I say dating because they were kids, okay? But Brad's son was allegedly her boyfriend at the time, but then I saw online that he was the ex-boyfriend nevertheless. So that there is that connection. Now, in these documents, allegedly, there were a lot of tips that came in suggesting that Brad was involved in the killings of Abby and Libby. And they seemingly were ignored. And during this time that the girls' bodies were found, Brad was posting all kinds of stuff on his social media. I mean, I even went and found some stuff that's still there, and it's marked public. You know, like if you post on your Facebook and you have that little world next to your name, that means you are allowing the world to see those photos, okay? If you change it to the little friends mark that looks like this, that means that your intention is for only your Facebook friends to see it. But if you got to post it on the world's going to see it, and the world is seeing it, okay? So Brad was posting all about his like Odinism and his beliefs and the things that he was doing with these other people that are part of this like Nordic religion. And allegedly, Brad posted a picture on his Facebook that had an image of 2 women, and they were either dead or they were posed as if they were passed away on the ground in what appeared to be a forest. Both of the women in these pictures had like tree limbs on them, posed in certain positions. And to make a long story short, according to these documents, the photo looked extremely similar to the way that Abby and Libby were found, like extremely similar. And what they're saying in these documents is there is no way that anybody would have known how they were found because it was not released to the public yet. So why is this person posting things that is very similar to what had just happened to his son's girlfriend? Bizarre. So not only were they finding these posts that were eerily similar to what happened to the girls, but the investigators continued to get tips about this Brad. And on April 14th, a tip came in that said that Brad Holder had actually changed his appearance following the girls' murders. The tipster further indicated that not only did Brad come to the girls' funerals, but that he wore glasses that they never saw him wear before. So they're like, wait a minute. They're like looking at him. They're like, Immediately afterwards, they're saying he changed his appearance. I want to show y'all a picture real quick that the internet has put together. I did not do this, okay? This is a picture of Richard Allen. This is a picture of Brad. And then this is a picture of the man on the bridge. Now, some of the posts that Brad had made on his social media have since been deleted, but they've got them, okay? This is a friendly reminder. If you post it on there, you can delete it later, but somebody's got it. Two women posted to a Facebook group that Brad Holder was responsible for the homicides. The tipster saw this post and told the police the contents of that post. The tipster went on to summarize what she read. Holder is a pagan, murdered the girls as sacrifices, and left an F on the victims' bodies. Holden's son is Abigail's ex-boyfriend. Obviously, the F left at the crime scene was not left on the girls' bodies, but rather on the tree, painted using Libby's blood. However, how would this information concerning the letter F get out there? So basically what they're saying here is like people were talking about this in a random Facebook group, but this hadn't been released to the public, that there had been the letter F painted in blood on a tree. And also, according to these documents, Brad allegedly lied to the police about where he was. It said that although Brad Holder told the police that he went from work straight to the gym to work out in Logansport in the afternoon, here is Brad Holder at 2 a.m. purportedly at a fitness center proclaiming that his energy and testosterone is through the roof right now. Find attached Facebook post marked Exhibit 53. Why was his testosterone so high? Why was his energy level so high? Why did he claim to go to the gym at 2 a.m. when he also claimed that he had been to the gym just a few hours earlier? Why was he at the gym when he was supposed to be at work in a couple hours? Did he go to work the next day? Why did he delete this Facebook post? Why would he be saying these things when his son is purportedly upset about his girlfriend being missing, as the girls had yet not been found when Holder posted this message to Facebook? Law enforcement officers, to our knowledge, never asked these questions in an aggressive interrogation of Holder. So Holder told them he had went to work, went to the gym, and basically went home, had to go to work the next morning. But then they found this Facebook post at 2 a.m. of him at the gym saying his testosterone was through the roof. They're like, why? Why were you on this high? Why were you just so pumped at 2 a.m.? Was it because you just, did something? Something else that the investigators had added in here was a painting that Brad had posted on his Facebook. And as of me filming this, it's still up because I went and seen it. And it's this painting right here of a man hanging upside down by his foot with his leg in a position and his arms above his head with slices across him in seemingly the same exact position that one of the girls was found in. This was posted by him as the painting that he said he did about a year after the girls were found. There's other photos on Brad's Facebook of him in the woods at nighttime with his friends, like doing some sort of like ritualistic get together. I mean, who knows what it was? They could just be all, having a bonfire on sticks. Who really knows? But the photos are there and they're bizarre. And then you have a lot of posts that he's made where he says, "Hail Odin." And I want to be very clear that Brad denies all of these claims. And he says actually that he's going to be suing people for accusing him, I guess, but I don't know. But then there's also videos like this that he allegedly did where it could be assumed that he was taunting people online about the whole hat incident.
Well, this one's really gonna piss you off. So you don't like my hat? You think I'm the murderer because I'm wearing this hat, right? Well, how about this hat? Does this hat trigger you? What kind of haircut do you have, Karen? I mean, I definitely have a kid haircut.
But you gotta admit, I mean, no matter who did this, it is bizarre that he's wearing a hat that looks very similar to the bridge guy. And then all these paintings and the timing and the going at the gym at 2 o'clock in the morning and lying. It's bizarre. Now, I have a lot of questions about this still, and I am not convinced one way or another. I do think that this is a strong case for reasonable doubt. No matter if Brad or the other people named in this, or if this was ritualistic, which it sounds like it. The way that the body was found, the bodies were found definitely sounds like it. And the fact that the defense wants cameras in the courtroom, means they want the public to see what they see, it says something. What is kind of scary is that if Richard gets out, if he's innocent, he should be let out. He absolutely should be let out. Then this could be another case of who did it? You know, what happened to these girls? And it could be a giant cover-up. Now, the question keeps coming up. Richard confessed. He confessed on the phone to his wife, and he didn't start acting crazy until after the confessions. Well, according to these documents, there's a reason why he confessed. It is alleged in these documents that Richard was not allowed to even meet with his attorneys without the correctional officers or the guards around, and that they would be filming him with a phone the whole time. Now, the correctional officers, I guess, told the attorneys that they were filming him for the attorney's protection, which they're supposed to be able to have, you know, alone time with their client, you know, the client attorney privilege aspect. However, they were filming him the whole time. Now, it is said that these officers, allegedly the ones that wore the patches that said, "In Odin we trust," the ones that they are claiming is a part of this like cult/religion, this group, would be threatening Richard and saying, if you don't admit to this, we're going to kill your whole family. And so when Richard would get with his attorney, the first questions that he would ask is my family okay? Are they alive? Are they okay? And the attorneys would be like, yeah, they're fine. What are you talking about? Come to find out later, it's allegedly because the people are in the prison with him and threatening him, and he was scared. I don't know, y'all. It seems far-fetched, but what, I mean, is it true? Is it not true? Who knows? I know that the way that these girls' bodies were found is bizarre, and it needs to be investigated. And that's another thing. Why would they even set this guy up? Why would they set him up? Why would they do all this stuff, just pick him? Well, allegedly, according to these documents, that when they went in and arrested Richard, it was 26 days before the election in their area. And maybe it seems like they're alluding to the idea that somebody wanted to get reelected, and they knew the best way to do it to make the public happy was to find the killer of Abby and Libby and the whole Delphi murders, because nobody could let it go. I mean, of course they couldn't. And it made certain people look really good during election. Man, that's crazy if that's true. Now, again, I don't know if any of this is true, but what I can say is that the defense has done a dang good job here. And I'm happy that they're asking for cameras to be in the courtroom. Let the public see. Let the people in that area that are paying tax dollars to fund the court system see what is going on. It is their right. It is their right to feel safe. And I'm really glad that the defense is pushing for that. So what do y'all think? Now, the prosecution hasn't responded. I mean, they may come out with some other stuff, but you got to have some serious fill in the blank to drop a 136-page document with all these claims if you ain't got the proof to back it up. And I believe they got the proof. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Other than that, I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for being here. Y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all next week. Love you guys. Bye.